Picture this: a 3-year-old, utterly ungovernable, will not eat the sandwich unless it's cut into triangles, will not wear the sock because the sock, quote, feels wrong today, will not walk in a straight line for any amount of bribery known to modern parenting. And yet, show the same tiny chaos agent a train, any train, doesn't matter, could be a freight train hauling gravel through Ohio, and they will stand there, mouth open, pointing, whispering choo-choo like they've just witnessed a religious event. So what is it? Why does a metal tube on rails short-circuit the small human brain more reliably than literally anything else on Earth, including dinosaurs, which is a genuinely insane thing for a train to be beating? Turns out there's real developmental science behind this. Let's get into it. Reason 1: trains are the only thing in a toddler's life that keeps its promises. Think about a toddler's world for a second. Nothing is predictable. Nap time might get canceled. The good cup might be in the dishwasher. Dad might inexplicably leave the room. It's chaos all day, every day, and they have zero control over any of it. A train, on the other hand, is a vehicle that has physically removed the concept of choice. It cannot turn left. It cannot decide to visit a different city on a whim. It goes exactly where the track goes, and the track was decided by someone else forever, and nothing will change that. Developmental psychologists will tell you that young children are actively soothed by predictability because their whole nervous system is still calibrating what's safe. A car could go anywhere. A train is basically a large metal promise, and toddlers love a promise that gets kept, mostly because so few other things in their life do. Reason 2: some kids don't just like trains, they like trains the way accountants like spreadsheets. This is where it gets interesting. Researchers studying interest patterns in children, especially the more intense, all-consuming kind of fascination, have pointed to something called systemizing, the drive to figure out the rules that make a system tick. Psychologist Simon Baron-Cohen has written about this a lot in the context of autistic children, for whom trains are an extremely common, borderline universal special interest. I train specifically because a train is basically a rule-based system wearing a little conductor's hat. Schedules, routes, numbers, track gauges, which engine pulls which cars. It's a whole closed logical universe that a 5-year-old can master completely, memorize entirely, and recite back to you at length whether or not you asked. Compare that to, say, friendship, which has no manual, no schedule, and occasionally just stops making sense for reasons nobody will explain. Trains don't do that. Trains are knowable. And a small brain that is desperate for something, anything, to fully understand will grab onto that with both hands. Reason 3: kids already had a lining things up phase, and trains just showed up pre-lined up. Any parent will tell you about the era when their toddler mysteriously started arranging toy cars into a perfect row instead of playing with them like a normal person. This isn't a quirky personality trait. It's an actual documented stage of cognitive development. Kids at this age are obsessed with categorizing, sequencing, and ordering the world, because that's literally the intellectual job they're doing at that point in life. It's how they build the mental scaffolding for concepts like next, before, and more. A train is that entire activity done for them at factory scale. It's engine, car, caboose, a perfect line of connected objects, moving together in order forever. A toddler looks at a train the way a chef looks at a perfectly organized spice rack. It's not a toy, it's a completed task. Reason 4: the sound is doing something to their nervous system, and it's not an accident. The rhythmic clack of wheels on track isn't just charming background noise. It's a steady, repetitive, low-frequency pattern, and human infants are demonstrably soothed by exactly that kind of rhythmic, predictable sound. It's the same principle behind white noise machines and heartbeat sounds for newborns. A train isn't just visually hypnotic, it's acoustically the next best thing to being rocked to sleep, except louder and with more waving. Reason 5: it has a face, and their brain cannot let that go. Human brains, especially very young ones, are wired to detect faces in almost anything. 2 dots and a line and we're done, that's a face now. So the second someone puts eyes and a smile on the front of a locomotive, a switch flips in a kid's head from large intimidating machine to friend who is also a machine, and also enormous, which is frankly the best possible combination of traits. That's not a coincidence. By the way, that's the entire business model of a certain blue tank engine and his friends. Reason 6: for once, they get to be the giant. And finally, miniature trains, train sets, the whole tiny world on a table experience, give a child something they almost never get, which is scale advantage. In real life, a toddler is the smallest, least powerful person in every room. Give them a train table, though, and suddenly they're enormous. They're in charge. They decide when the train goes through the tunnel. For a person who spends their entire day being told what to do by giants, that is not a toy. That is a taste of raw executive power. So there you have it. Trains are predictable. They're a fully masterable logical system. They're pre-organized into a satisfying line. They sound like a heartbeat. They have a face, and they let a 3-foot-tall person feel like the tallest thing in the room. Honestly, at this point, the real mystery isn't why kids love trains. It's why the rest of us ever grew out of it.